Hello, it's me, Jay, and in this video, I'll be showing you how you can use ClickUp as a student. It can help you organize your notes, your assignments, your homeworks, and your subjects, and everything else in between. And also, if you have a phone, you can also download ClickUp app, and that will just make things very convenient. So we'll go ahead with this tutorial. So first things first, we can go and create space. We can name it University. Click Next and Next. And you can choose your color. We'll just go ahead and use red. You can also upload your own avatar. You can use your university's logo or even your face. It's really up to you. But for now, I'll just use this Colosseum because it looks like, you're in a university. You can just choose private. And then here, I suggest we'll just use this custom status. Click next, and for the ClickUp apps, you can play around with this in the future, but for now, this is already okay for us. And for the view, we can go away with just using the list view, so we can turn off the board view. So really up to you. So yeah, this is how your space would look like. So we'll just go ahead and click create space. There we go. We have now the list inside our university space. We can change the name of the list into class notes. Just for an example, we'll just be taking down notes, for this lists. This is very customizable. We can start putting sample notes for the classes that we're taking. So let's say history, or let's say introduction to history. Okay, and then maybe algebra, because we're also taking notes from maybe our math subject, and then verbs, nouns, and pronouns, because we're also taking notes in our English subject. So for this semester, we only have 3 subjects. So we want to make sure, that this is linked to our subject that we're taking. So how are we going to do that? So for that, we'll just add a new column by creating a new field. Here, we can add a new column and we can name that column as subjects. So for our 3 subjects, I suggest drop-down menu would be more appropriate. We have our first class was History 101, and then we can have English 101, and lastly is Math 101. We can also assign different colors into different subjects, so it will be easier for us to see in a glance. So go ahead and let's just create that, and there we go. We have now the subjects. We can change this. We can put this closer to the name under the to-do status. So introduction to history. So obviously it's a history 101 subject. Algebra, math, and then verbs and stuff like that would be in English. So we can just change that to make it a bit shorter. And right there too, maybe this one. Yeah, I just want to make it, tight. So now we have the subjects. Now we want to make sure that we actually went and reviewed our notes. So we want to make a new column that would maybe a check mark that would tell us that we've reviewed this notes from this subject. So for that, again, we go to the field, creating new field, which is the column, and let's say reviewed. Okay, my grammar might be bad, but I think that's how you would be using that word reviewed. Could be review or review. I don't know. So checkbox. So that's what we're creating right now. And again, it will show itself into the column, and maybe we'll just put that closer, much closer than the subjects, because we want to make sure that we reviewed the notes that we made during the class. So history, introduction to history, let's say we reviewed it, right? So we put the check mark there, and then from to do, because you're not doing it anymore because you already reviewed it, it should go to complete. So you can set it to closed, but now it's gone. The thing is, you wanna go back to that task card. Maybe you wanna see it again, and maybe you wanna review it again. But it's gone. So in order for us to see it, or for it to show itself, you just have to click this show closed. Don't forget to save that view. So now you have that introduction to history notes that you want to go back to. So if you click on it, this is the task card. You can also write any comments right there. Maybe our teacher was hot. Maybe that's I don't know why you would want to write that, but you can also add a voice clip, add a file, maybe some materials that you want to add there, or reference website. You can also assign anyone if they have also a ClickUp, and then you invited them to your ClickUp space, to your university space. You can add emoji. Also, you can screen record, and yeah, plenty of things that you can do. So yeah, that's it for the notes. And maybe you wanna tag. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you didn't take this notes in the classroom, or maybe you took it from another facility or another event. So you want to tag each task card where you took them. So for that, again, we can add another column, use existing field, create new field. Maybe we can put in type of notes. Maybe we got this from the library. So yeah, we can just add a label. Yeah. So for that, we can maybe put in library, library. Okay. And then maybe from the group study that we just had last week, or from the lecture. Yeah, see. So that's where we got those notes, and we can tag each task cards which type of notes this is from. So let's say library. Maybe this one is from the group study, or group study while during the lecture. Yeah, I think that's possible. Maybe not, but it's really up to you. Then here you can just have it from lecture. So there you go. Your class notes from different subjects with different type where you got it from. Can assign it due date. Maybe you want to review this before Monday. So or yeah, you can put in a due date on Monday. Priority like normal. Mondays like few days from now. Maybe this one tomorrow. Yeah, the due date will be tomorrow. So it's urgent, and then the due date for this one is maybe next week Wednesday, but the urgency is high. Maybe that's how you want it. You want your notes to be reviewed. Yeah. So yeah, there it is, the class notes. And then we wanna maybe move on from class notes into class assignments. So for that, we can just add another list by going here on the university space row. You can see this plus button. You can just add the list. We can name it as a class assignments. Okay, great list. So again, this list is looking like how we started with the other one, the class notes. It's very bare, so you can just add or maybe take away anything that you want from here. So here, as an example, again, we can add our task cards here. Let's say we're doing another history assignment. So maybe history of Asia, and another one, uh, chapter 1, 2, 3, algebra. Yeah. Okay. And then maybe for English is grammar. Okay, especially for me because I'm really bad at it. So anyway, yeah, we can again, same as before, we can customize our list view, and we can add anything that's relevant to it. Let's say, for example, a link to the materials that maybe the professor gave, or just as a reference. So let's write in a link to materials. and we can just maybe use the website instead this time. So create, and then it should show itself here. Again, I wanna, or maybe it's not that important compared to others. We can just put it farther. So link to material. So maybe let's say history of Asia. You can put in the website of history.com. And then for algebra, maybe math.com. And for grammar, English that's where where our professor wants us to go, or maybe that's the sites that he cited during the lecture, so you can put it in there. So again, we can set priorities and due dates. Maybe all of them are just normal because they're just normal uh, assignments. And then for subjects, we can also add the subjects again from earlier. uh, let's say for this time, because we already created subjects, we don't have to create them, but instead we can just search for them and then just add them to our lists instead. So no more going and making a new one. So here we go, subjects. So history of Asia, obviously history, algebra, oops, sorry, math, and then grammar, English. So there we go. And maybe you want to change the view. Maybe you just want to see the subjects themselves rather than the lists of the statuses, like to do. So you can add that here. Add lists of the subjects. You can change the group status into subjects right there. So don't forget, again, save the view so you don't have to go back and forth and just changing them again. So lists here, we can just also change that to subjects instead. Okay. Now it was saved, so there, it's more organized, and has been segregated, sort of. So from history, English 101, and math 101. You also want to make sure that anything that you've closed, or any task that's been completed, that you can also see, you can still see them. So don't forget to also show closed. So whenever you have, let's say English 101, the grammar, you already finished that assignment. So but you can still see it here instead of it just vanishing. So there we go. Like here, see, it vanished, but here you can still see it. So maybe we'll also show closed here and save it, so we can still see any subjects that's been finished, any assignments that's been finished. So there we go. Yeah, and that's it. You have your notes and assignments, and maybe we can add more views. That's more convenient for us in a glance, maybe. So a table, yeah, a table here. We can maybe put that table. Can pin it, actually, yeah, right there. So it's first in line. So here, I think it's another way of us looking at all of the information at a glance. Here I can add the due date again, maybe Tuesday, and priority. Yeah, and now it's just a flag instead of the actual words written on it. So yeah, I don't mind. So because you can still see if it's urgent, it will turn red. So there we go. We can add more, maybe subject, the subject, if it's here. Yeah, it's here. So yeah, different views inside your list, and you can rename them however you want. So hopefully you've learned something from this video, and if you have any comments and suggestions, you can just write them down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.